Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. What if the one person everyone in the Abbott family still struggles to trust is the very person who ends up saving them from total destruction? Alright, let's talk about one of the most shocking and emotionally charged developments shaking Genoa City right now. In a twist that absolutely no one saw coming, Diane makes a daring and extremely controversial decision that could either rescue the Abbott family from disaster or completely destroy what little trust she has left with them. For weeks, tension has been building behind the polished walls of Jabot and inside the Abbott mansion. At the center of this breathing storm is Matt, whose behavior has become increasingly erratic and unpredictable. On the surface, he tries to maintain control, presenting a calm and composed image, but underneath that carefully crafted exterior, something far more dangerous has been growing. A vendetta. And not just any vendetta, this one is aimed squarely at Jack Abbott. Rumors begin circulating through the hallways of Jabot that Matt has been quietly planning something devastating, something calculated, something that could publicly humiliate Jack and financially cripple the company he built. While most people dismiss these whispers as corporate gossip, Diane recognizes something deeper and far more alarming. She sees the warming signs that others overlook, the obsessive focus, the simmering resentment, and the chilling sense of personal justification that often precedes catastrophic decisions. And instead of standing back and hoping Jack handles it himself, Diane does something completely unexpected. She secretly forms an alliance with her own son, Kyle. But here's the catch: Jack has absolutely no idea. To really understand how explosive this moment is, you have to remember Diane's complicated history with the Abbott family. For years, she fought tooth and nail to rebuild her reputation after a long trail of manipulation, secrets, and betrayal. Many people in Genoa City still see her as someone who brings chaos wherever she goes. Even within the Abbott family, trust in Diane has always been fragile at best. So when she approaches Kyle with her plan, the reaction is exactly what you would expect. Kyle is furious. From his perspective, every time Diane gets involved in something, things spiral out of control. He has spent years of trying to maintain stability within the family, and the last thing he wants is to be dragged into another scheme that could damage everything they have worked to protect. But Diane doesn't approach him the way she used to. She isn't manipulative, she isn't calculating. Instead, she speaks to him as a mother who is genuinely afraid that something terrible is about to happen. Then she reveals something that completely changes the situation. Matt has been contacting her privately, not with threats, not with direct attacks, but with messages that hint at deep resentment toward Jack. He talks about feeling betrayed, ignored, cast aside by someone he once trusted. In Diane's mind, this is a massive red flag because Matt isn't just angry anymore. He's unraveling, and when people reach that point, they often stop thinking about consequences. Kyle slowly begins to understand the seriousness of the situation. If Matt truly believes Jack wronged him, and if he feels like no one is listening, then he could be preparing to strike in a way that would devastate the Abbott family. That's when Diane proposes something incredibly risky. Instead of confronting Matt directly or warning Jack immediately, they use her connection to Matt as a bridge. Her idea is simple in theory but dangerous in execution. She will continue communicating with Matt, earning his trust and giving him a space to vent his anger. Slowly, she will guide him toward a face to face confrontation with Jack, but one accused focused on truth and accountability rather than revenge. Kyle immediately recognizes how dangerous this strategy could be. If Diane miscalculates even slightly, Matt could escalate his plans. The situation could spiral into something far worse than a corporate scandal. But the thought of Jack being blindsided by a massive attack against Jabot is enough to push Kyle to take the risk. And so, the secret alliance between mother and son begins. Meanwhile, Jack continues to going about his business completely unaware that his wife and son are quietly working behind the scenes to stop a potential disaster. The irony here is almost painful. Jack has always believed it was his job to protect the family. Yet now, without his knowledge, Diane and Kyle are stepping into danger to protect him. The turning point arrives when Diane meets Matt in a quiet park. It's an incredibly tense moment. Diane sits across from him, maintaining a calm and composed demeanor while internally wrestling with the enormous pressure of what she's trying to accomplish. Matt opens up about everything: the resentment, the sense of betrayal, the feeling that Jack dismissed him and damaged his future without truly understanding the consequences. Instead of arguing or defending Jack, Dan listens. She validates his emotions, acknowledging his pain without encouraging his anger. Slowly, she guides the conversation away from revenge and towards something more constructive. She even shares pieces of her own history: her mistakes, her attempts at redemption, her realization that destroying someone else rarely heals the wounds inside us. Unbeknownst to Matt, Kyle is watching from a distance, ready to step in if the conversation turns dangerous. But then, Matt drops a bombshell. He hints that he has a plan, one that could financially cripple Jabot and publicly humiliate Jacobot. At that moment, Dan realizes the situation is even more urgent than she feared. Time is running out. She convinces Matt to agree to a meditated conversation with Jack, a chance to speak openly and finally be heard. Kyle, realizing how serious things have become, finally informs Jack about the plan, and Jack is stunned, not just by Matt's intentions, but by Diane's boldness. He feels betrayed that she kept him in the dark. Yet, at the same time, he can't ignore the possibility that her instincts may have prevented something catastrophic. The final confrontation takes place inside the Abbott living room, and the atmosphere is thick with decades of pride, resentment, and unresolved emotion. Matt lays out his grievances in full. His voice shakes with anger and frustration as he explains how Jack's actions affected his life. But this time something is different. Jack listens, really listens. Diane stands quietly nearby, knowing that her entire gamble rests on this moment. Kyle eventually speaks up as well, reminding everyone that family isn't about control or authority. It's about accountability, forgiveness, and growth. Gradually, the tension begins to ease. Matt's anger softens as he realizes that for the first time someone is actually hearing him. Then Jack does something unexpected. He admits that he made mistakes. He acknowledges Matt's pain and offers a path forward, one that includes respect, restitution, and the possibility of rebuilding trust. It isn't perfect, but it's enough. The thread that once loomed over Jabot begins to dissolve. The aftermath of this confrontation sends ripples across Genoa City. Inside the Abbott mansion, the emotional landscape has shifted dramatically. Dan's risky alliance with Kyle didn't just stop Matt's revenge, it forced the entire family to confront truths they had avoided for years. Jack realizes that leadership isn't just about authority, it's about listening, even when the conversation is uncomfortable. Kyle discovers that protecting the family sometimes requires stepping into morally complicated situations. And Diane, perhaps most surprisingly of all, proves that she is capable of acting out of genuine love rather than personal ambition. Across Genoa City, rumors spread about how close Jabot came to imploding. Insiders speculate that Diane's partnership with Kyle may permanently alter the power dynamic within the Abbott family. For the first time in a long time, Diane isn't being viewed as the source of chaos. She is being seen as someone who may have saved the family. But the story doesn't end neatly. Matt leaves the Abbott mansion conflicted. His anger has cooled, but his pride remains. Whether he truly moves forward or eventually reignites the feud is still uncertain. And in Genoa City, peace rarely lasts long. Honestly, this storyline is one of the most fascinating character developments we have seen in a long time. For years, Diane has been portrayed as someone who manipulates situations for her own benefit. But here, we see a completely different side of her. Instead of creating chaos, she steps into the role of protector. And what makes it even more powerful is that she risked everything to do it. If her plan had failed, she would have destroyed the little trust the Abbott family still had in her. Kyle's evolution is also incredibly compelling. Watching him move from anger to her understanding shows how much he's grown as both his son and a leader. And Jack's willingness to admit his mistakes, that moment alone might be one of the most important turning points for the Abbott family in tears. As the dust settles, the Abbott family finds itself standing together, stronger in some ways, but also more vulnerable than ever before. Secrets have been exposed, loyalties have been tested, old wounds have been reopened. Yet, through all of that chaos, something unexpected has emerged, a fragile sense of unity. Diane's shocking move may go down as one of the most defining moments of her entire journey, not because it gave her power, but because it showed how far she is willing to go to protect the people she loves. But in generosity, calm rarely lasts forever. The real question now is what happens when the next storm arrives. Will this newfound unity hold strong, or will old resentments and hidden fractures reopen, proving that even the strongest families can break under pressure? I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Diane truly redeemed herself with this bold move? Was Kyle right to trust his mother despite their complicated history? And do you believe Matt is really done seeking revenge, or is this just the calm before another storm? Drop your opinions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed diving into this dramatic storyline, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next twist coming out of generosity. Because if there is one thing we know for sure, the drama is far from over.